I'm Vanessa Jackson. This is Mango Bay.
Mango Bay, Mango Bay.
Mango Bay.
Mango Bay, Mango Mango Bay, Mango Bay, Mango Bay, your Mango Bay.
For the exclusive content, don't forget to join our Patreon at patreon.com/MangoBay. Mango
Bay.
Welcome to Mango Bay, one-stop
Welcome.
shop for South Asian recklessness. We are two
Indeed
best
it is.
boys, Usama Siddiquee,
Pranav Behari.
and we bring you the South Asian tamasha and the wildness and the what have you. Patreon.com/MangoBay. Get on it.
Get on it.
What are you
guys.
waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, you just get on it.
It's cheap.
Bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Great. Today, we have a very funny guest. A person I love, personally. Okay, already it's fraying. Already the vibe is fraying. Thanks. Vanessa, can we just turn off the camera?
Yeah.
Can you just...
No, we should air out the beef. Go ahead.
Air out the beef, guys.
We have Vanessa Jackson on the pod. Hilarious comedian.
Yeah.
Ex-SNL writer.
Yeah. Wait, did I tell you? Oh, never mind.
Please.
No, tell us.
Please.
In the podcast, I can tell you.
We're already
now.
doing it. Yeah, we're in it.
This is really funny. I'll have to show you on my phone. So I got a woman.
What is this?
Dramatic pause. I was producing a show. I was doing like an hour for New York Comedy Festival, and I had this woman like producing it or whatever, so I can get people. And she was sending out like stuff to different people around the city to like post about it. And she sent this thing to this like Brooklyn newspaper of like, can you post about this show or whatever? And the guy was like, yeah, for sure. She texted me back. She goes, is this a little harsh? This was a write up. This is mine because you said ex-SNL. She sent me because she goes, did this read harsh to you? If it didn't read harsh to you, that's fine, but it just seemed a little bit harsh to me. This man was trying to sell tickets for my show, okay? This is what he did to sell tickets for the show. Hold on 1 second. Dramatic pause. I promise it'll be worth it. Not only read the headline, read the first line in it.
Ex-SNL writer Vanessa Jackson does an hour in Bushwick. Okay, a bit too descriptive. Read the first sentence.
Fresh from getting cut from the
Jesus
list.
Christ.
I said, what?
Professional loser Vanessa Jackson is doing a shitty, stupid hour at the smallest club on planet Earth. Damn, wow.
I know. I told her, I was like, do I know this man? I was like,
It's
what
intense,
is this man's
dude.
name? I was like, that's the craziest way you could ever promote a show. Come watch this loser do an hour of
Dude,
jokes.
hilarious. Fresh from getting cut from the SNL and the latest dude she was hanging out with. Vanessa Jackson.
Fresh off a breakup.
Yes. I thought she was going to text me and be like, oh, Mark, okay, I know who that is. I understand why he's angry.
That is, there's some misogyny there too because
Yeah.
when Brooks Wheelan got cut from SNL, he did a tour as well, and it was like the Stick It to the Man tour.
Yes.
With Brooks.
Well,
And
was it like a thing?
It was a
him
breakup
getting
tour
cut?
with SNL. So he did get cut, and his whole show was about getting cut. And he sold it out every time.
Yeah.
Like, it was like an hour a show about him getting cut from SNL. And once that was over, he became nothing. Because his whole personality became, I got cut out
from SNL.
It's
Damn.
insane. It's insane.
I feel like they cut a lot of people, though.
Bro.
every
They
year,
do.
right?
That's like I was telling to somebody else this recently. We were talking about it, and I was like, well, it's kind of stressful because the whole thing is like, you know that every year they have to hire people, so every year they have to fire people. And she was like,
Okay.
well, then wouldn't it make it feel like every day you could get fired? And I was like, yeah. And therein lies the problem.
So was it stressful being there?
That part I think was stressful. The people were great. Like I heard that the culture got changed after Seth Meyers took over, so it was a lot like friendlier and stuff.
Okay.
So because I was nervous that it was going to be like, I've heard stories that it was like super cutthroat.
But it is cutthroat because they did hire new people and throw out other people.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. In theory.
It reminds me of like that Cage and Deer Hunter where they're just like waiting to get shot. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
throw them out to play Russian roulette. And you're like, okay, let's see. Here comes a sketch.
Yes.
Cool, you know?
Yeah.
It's insane. I don't know if I love this way of being.
Yeah.
I love the one good thing about social media is that it's like depowering some of this shitty industry energy. Like I don't know how'd they say no. They're just like bye.
Oh, to get cut?
Yeah.
Oh, it's really funny, actually. It's, well, not even like that funny, but like it was my.
It's more sad now that I'm thinking about
I
it.
actually might cry. What if I did? I'm just like,
It's okay.
Actually, now that I'm
We've
thinking
had
about
many
it.
people cry on the show.
Yeah, people have cried on the show.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, good to know.
Yeah.
No, I was there for 3 seasons. So how it works every year is like during the summer they'll tell you like, oh, you're renewed or you're not renewed. I didn't get the job through agents and managers, which is important because usually your agents and managers will call you, but I always just get like a letter straight from like the legal department.
God damn.
Legal. Ooh,
Jesus.
hard.
Yeah,
Christ.
and they're like, we picked you up for another season or whatever. And so so this one,
Legal sounds like cold, no?
Yeah.
it is really intense. It's so
Get the
funny.
fuck out of here. Get
Yeah.
off the premises immediately.
Yes, well, that's also how I got the job too, because other people get the cool like your agent or your manager calls and like, oh my gosh, you did it, kid.
Yeah.
I just straight up got an email that was like, here's your contract. Like nobody told me.
You got it from
Gladys from the legal
Literally,
department.
yeah. Sent it like, here is your contract for your first day of work. I was like, oh, so I have the job?
Mailer demon.
Yes, yeah.
Hey, you got the job.
Do not reply.
Well, that's why I was like, what if it went to the wrong email? Because my name has 2 N's in it, and people get that wrong all the time.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I'm always like stressed about that, but it worked out. And they also gave me the little. Well, I didn't get the notice to get fired. So what had happened was they usually renew you every year on July 15th, but this year I don't know why this year they like put a bunch of people on hold. They were like, we'll see. We're gonna let you know. We're still kind of deciding and figuring things out, and like if we're gonna have room or if we're gonna hire on people, I don't know. But then I was like calling around my other coworkers and I was like, hey, so we all got put on hold, and they're like, no, not all of us.
Yo, yo.
Not just like a small chunk of us. And I was in a small chunk. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm in a little small elite group.
Yeah.
There's a few of us on hold. And then there was
Small elite.
small but mighty, you know, a lot of hard hitters. And
That's hilarious.
yeah, so they were like, we'll let you know in like August. And I was like, cool, I'll just wait another month and a half to figure it out. And then the day came and I was trying to like, you know, you try to put something off your hold. You're like, I'm just going to go to the gym, do whatever. And then finally like 5 p.m. rolled around and I texted my manager and I was like, hey, have you heard anything back or whatever? And then he called me. Never a good sign. And he called me and he was like, hey, I just heard back. Like they're not going to renew you or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. And then on Monday, all the producers call you one by one. So you have to have like 7 different conversations of like, yeah.
What? Will they say no?
No.
7 times?
They're like, hey,
And
just
by
in case you didn't get it.
Yes,
You're
just in
gone.
case you weren't aware.
Yeah.
I think what they do is like they let you know on Friday, so you have the weekend to like cry, and then Monday they call you and they're like, "We love you, we love your work. It's just how this happens sometimes." Like, well, it was nice. They're like, "We'll give you references and stuff." It really is, and I know it always sounds crazy. It really is just the nature of this job. Like they only have a certain amount of offices, and so it's like this would have been my 4th season. So it's like, do you bring her back and pay her more, or do we
Right.
get some new blood in?
Right,
So it's
right,
like.
right.
Dude, it is not. You're saying it like it's nothing. I actually despise this.
Yeah.
Completely. You're saying, no, for sure. I'm like cattle.
Yeah.
I hate this. What?
I'm like, yeah.
Like, dude, maybe this is the reason why SNL isn't working for me sometimes.
Yeah.
They just keep getting new writers who aren't getting better because they want to pay them less.
Uh-huh.
As opposed to people who just stay with the show and get better and better and better at sketch writing
Yeah.
and the format and the flavor. I just don't think it's a good thing.
I will say some people stay for years,
Uh-huh.
though. There's a good chunk of people who have been there for like years.
They're called
and stuff.
white people.
And they're,
Can we say-
What is the ethnic breakdown, would you say, demographically of the writers' room at SNL?
you know what's really
It's like
funny?
Welsh,
Yeah.
French American,
I was like,
German American.
mostly black. I think a lot South Asian. No, I'm just kidding. You know what is funny though is this last year they were doing like a bunch of documentaries and stuff preparing for the 50th, and one of the director or whatever asked if he could like speak to me as like a writer, and I was like, yeah, for sure. And I thought it was gonna be a softball little interview or whatever. I think they ended up cutting it because I think my face was like, and he was like, how do you like writing for SNL? And I was like, it's great. I wrote this cool sketch. It was Amazon Go. It had a lot to do about like black people and AI and whatever. And he goes, yeah. And as a black person, I heard it's customarily really hard to be at SNL. What are your thoughts on that? And I think my face just was like, he was like, because Chris Rock has classically said that black people at SNL, blah, blah, do you agree with Chris? And I was like, well, me and Chris were here at a different time. And I was like, how do I not like tear down?
This is on July 10th.
Yeah.
You know?
I wanted to be like, and he also is not, his money is not coming directly from the show currently. So it's crazy.
That is insane. That is for the deadline.
Yes, I was like,
hey, so why should we kill you?
yeah. I thought they were going to be like, what are your favorite snacks here? And I was like, oh, cool. I was prepared to be like, so I love the Skinny Pop. It's crazy.
So Chris Rock had some black snacks that he enjoyed. Are there some black snacks that you?
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
Oh, it's crazy.
I feel like they do sometimes do that now with like demographics, you know?
Yeah.
Like Vanessa's really funny, right? But listen, we found a blacker, more lesbian
yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
And that's how we're gonna.
She's got a story.
You know, with the Japanese writer, this other guy bows lower when he bows. So we should probably.
Like, it's crazy.
It probably has a little bit to do with that, you know, right?
Yeah.
Also the money thing, right? Like
yes,
pay
yeah.
less.
There's like a lot of different
Damn,
things.
dude,
yeah. It's like
Well,
pay
how
less.
does the writers' room work there? You guys are working throughout the week on sketches, right?
Yes and no, kind of. I mean, so it's like the big writing night is on Tuesday night, and like you're really allowed to write whatever. I think a lot of people always think that it's very much like they tell you what to write or whatever, but like they really don't. It's really up to like whatever you want to write. So basically on Tuesday you just come up with idea, or like Monday you start talking to people about ideas.
Yeah.
I learned that the wrong way my first year. I was going to people like Tuesday at 4 and they're like, oh no, we already decided on Sunday. What's happening? So
They don't tell you like how this works.
No, that is the craziest part of SNL. It's very like sink or swim, which I think is also what makes it a lot difficult for a lot of people, because it's very much like, yeah, here's your office and cool. I mean, I always joke because my very first day, Owen Wilson was like the host of my first show, and my boss came to our office and he was like, hey, did you want to go down and talk to Owen Wilson? And I thought he meant like for funsies. Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm good. And he was like, no, to like pitch him your ideas. And I was like, oh, yeah, of course. Would love to go tell him professionally. I thought he was like, you want
I'm
a
really a
picture?
big fan, actually.
Yeah.
So, I'm good.
I literally was like, nah, I'm okay. That's
Dude,
cool.
I would have just gone down and been like, wow, a couple times and left.
Yeah.
That was a fun time.
And then
being with-
I did have an awkward, because he asked me at one point, I was like showing him this sketch or whatever, and he goes, yeah, and how would you read this line? And I was like, this is my second day on the job. I don't know. Yeah, how would you read it? You were the one in movies.
Yeah. They just do an impression of him.
What if I did? That would be crazy.
Yeah.
And a super offensive impression.
I love the idea that it's like a really mean line.
Yeah.
How would you read this line? Yeah, well, I'm a dumbass. Okay. Owen, I love you though.
But you're great. You're super smart.
Loki was so good.
That's cool. But yeah, Tuesdays are a basic. We like punch up throughout the rest of the week. But yeah, Tuesdays the days that we like sit down, and then you just think of an idea, and then you like go to other writers. You're like, hey, do you want to write this with me? Are you on a lot? Do you have? Because that's the thing, is everybody's writing so many different ideas, which is why it's like throughout the night.
Yeah.
Because you're like having to wait for people.
Right.
You know, I'm always curious about this. Not that I'll ever do this. I feel like you're more likely to get into a writer's room, you know, at one
Maybe,
point.
yeah.
You know, I feel like that'd be like really what I see him doing. But it just doesn't seem like a very conducive environment for creativity. That's what I didn't like about any of these stories. Is like it just feels like it's like a meat grinder. Nah?
It is a hard. It's very interesting too, because I was just talking to another stand-up who like got pretty far in the process for like SNL, but he's also like really big online and stuff, and he ended up not getting it. I'm like, well, that's great for you, because like the online thing is you don't have any red tape. Like I remember my very first writing job, that was always the weirdest thing, is because you're like, it's a lot of red tape and a lot of like, oh, we have this super funny idea. And like, I think about it a lot. Nimesh Patel, you guys know, he wrote with me on my very first writing job. Was A Little Late with Lily Singh. And it was always funny watching him, because he had such funny ideas. And I think of him specifically because I'm a little bit more of like, yeah, whatever you guys want. But he always would have like really, really funny, crazy, out there ideas. And then it would always be like, oh, we can't do that because of this, or that's not going to go well, or that's not her voice, or that kind of a thing. And so, yeah, that part is really, really hard, where you're just like, well, this is funny. And they're like, no, it is. And it would do well, but like, we just can't because of this reason. And by the end, sometimes you get an idea back and you're like, oh, that's not even at all what I wrote. I don't know what it has my name on it, but I don't recognize any of these jokes. Fully, I've had things where I'm like, is that what it was? Cool.
But it says written by Vanessa Jaskin on the cover.
I wrote for one show. I will not say the name of, but we didn't have like at SNL, at least we get to like produce it. So you get a chance to like really be on the
Part of
ground.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had a show once where I saw the sketches after and I go, yeah, I don't recognize that at all. I don't know what.
So what did you write and what was the actual sketch?
I wrote, there is so many different ways. Like, I will say for this one show, I wrote for a Black Lady sketch show on HBO, which that actually was like such a fun job because I'm like really close with all the women who wrote. They were all like in a group chat and like help each other out, which is cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
Yeah, but I remember that I pitched this idea that I don't even think ended up going on the show. But it was supposed to be like, are you guys familiar with the show, like Family Matters, the like lore?
Familiar.
Yeah. Are you familiar with like the lore behind it though? How there was like a little sister in like the first or second season and they like cut her out of the show. But basically in the show, the last time you ever saw her was she went up the stairs to be like, good night. And then they just cut her from the whole show. And so the joke was always,
night, forever.
yes, forever. The joke has always been like, whatever happened to her. And so I pitched a sketch where like she comes back down like 40 years later, however long has been, and she's like,
funny.
Hey, hey, I've been here, and that was, and I really liked it. But then it turned into like something where it was like somebody was like, well, we got to make it like topical to today. So then they were like, what if we made it like a Stranger Things thing where she like goes up and then she comes back down in the upside down and it's the characters from Stranger Things, but there's nobody black in Stranger Things. So then it had to do with like the Cold War. I remember I had to do like 5 like rough drafts on this thing, and by the last rough draft we all were reading it like, what is this? And I was like, I literally don't know.
There's a Stranger Things Cold War element. Is there?
I think I had like 24 hours to get this sketch back, and I'd never seen Stranger Things. So it was just like, so I can't even reread that sketch. It was just so off.
Dude.
Everybody in the room was reading it like, what's happening in this? And I'm like, I don't even know. If you guys could tell me. And it's always bad because a lot of times they'll be like, oh, somebody's going to like go and punch this up. And that one they were like,
Yeah. Dude, that is so disheartening, dude.
Yeah.
Imagine you wrote a
sometimes.
stand-up joke for yourself, and then some guy came in at the end of it. Like,
Yes.
listen, you're going to be gay in this one,
Yeah.
and you're also Bolivian. Like,
Yeah.
what? Wait.
Yes, and you're like, wait a second. Well, I think that's what made me just like keep doing and hit the ground harder with like stand up, because a lot of times I think some people will start stand up to get into a writer's room.
Yeah.
And then I know a lot of friends who have like done that process and they're like, cool, and now I'm in a writer's room and I just love it. And they like genuinely, I know a lot of people who love the collaboration of it. And I think it might be just from my stand up brain. I just sometimes you're just like, but I think this joke is funny. Or like, I swear people will get like, I'm in front of audiences like they'll understand that it's a very fascinating thing.
You ever have those moments where you're like, I'm funnier than you.
I'm
better.
Not I'm funnier than you, but I do think I've had moments where I go, and I've said it before, where I'm like, that's not going to work in front of a crowd. Like, it'll be something dark or something like, and you'll just know, like, as a stand-up, you're in front of so many crowds, you'll be like, people don't usually go with that, like, type of race joke or something, or, like, people don't usually go, and a lot of times people are like, okay, calm down, and they'll do it, and it will bomb, and I'll be like, I knew it.
But by the time it bombs, you're not connected anymore. They don't remember that you told them.
Yeah, no.
They're like, why did Vanessa write that joke?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
bombed.
exactly. I'm like, nope.
Dude, it just makes me angry. All this fake accountability.
Fake
you know?
accountability. What do you mean?
Like like you're like the Stranger Things and the Cold War edition. And it's like your sketch, your thing, and it's your name on it. But now nothing of you is there. Pissed me off.
That's just the nature of living we're doing commercial comedy, right? Which is
Yeah.
something we all want to do.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be sacrifices and compromises you have to make if you want to do it, right? So I don't know. I mean, it seems like you have a pretty mature outlook on that. Of just like, well, this is what it is, right?
100%.
As opposed to being like, pulling a Jerry Maguire and being like, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah, I've cleaned my hands of that where I just
Right.
go like, I kind of view it as like two separate things. I think like my stand-up is mine and that's where I get to do whatever I want and all my jokes.
Yeah.
And then this is like a thing where it's like, oh, I'm doing a service for somebody else. Where it's like, if you do your own show or pitch your own show or whatever, that's on you or whatever. But and maybe that is the wrong approach where I just am like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll like fight for things if I'm like, no, this is like really, this is funny. This will be good. But
You fighting.
me fighting.
Huh.
It's
Let's role play
crazy.
this. Vanessa, that was not gonna work. We're not gonna put it up. You're like, okay.
Are you sure though?
Yes. Well,
It's just like a weird kind of gaslighting that you do.
Yeah.
It's like, I think you do want to put it up.
You do, though. I think you're going to give us a chance.
I think you're fired.
Yeah. No, my thing would be, and sometimes this is also crazy. I would text one of the head producers whom I love and was great. But like sometimes if they have too many sketches and there's like, because I would write a lot with Punky Johnson, who's so funny.
Right.
But the things we would write were sometimes so out of pocket and just like, that can't go on TV.
Like what? Like what? Give me one.
Oh,
Please. I need this.
me and Punky wrote a sketch. This we didn't even submit because we sent it to one of the head writers we trusted, and he was like, that was crazy. Yeah. But it was like Punky was playing a hibachi chef. There was an accent. It got crazy. It was insane. Just whatever Punky wants to do.
Is there a hibachi accent?
That's an Asian accent. Yeah.
When you send a tenured comedy writer,
She was doing
hibachi
hibachi face.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
It was crazy. She was doing hibachi face. It was like one of those things. But we also write things at like 4 a.m. where you're like, this is hilarious. And then somebody is like, this is not.
This is demented.
Hibachi accent.
Yeah. But I sent it to my boss, not that one, but other ones, and I'll be like, hey, this is really funny, and we really like this. It'd be really great if you can make sure that it got read, please. Yeah. Don't pull it. Don't hold it.
It's just a white lady saying the N-word.
Yeah, exactly.
What if we did a sketch where a white girl just says
what
the
if we
N-word?
did this? No.
Reese Witherspoon just says the N-word.
Yeah. No, me and Punky would write a lot of things, which Punky was the only one I ever saw who would get like standing ovations at the table reads or whatever. She would crush.
Wow.
Yeah, but sometimes for whatever reason, it's just like they didn't have room or whatever. But yeah, we wrote a lot of things where sometimes we would genuinely write things where I'm like, I think this was only funny to us. I remember one time we wrote something for her and I think it was Shane Gillis, I want to say, where they were like a couple on like a like, you know, one of those dating game shows. Yeah. They were a couple on a dating game show, but they were both dressed like Punky dresses in real life. just like really butch and just like weren't acknowledging it. And they were like, no, we're a straight couple. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But they kept saying to each other, guess what? I don't care. And they did this, like, we wrote it in the sketch so many times and it got a laugh not a single time. And we had a whole like page run of them being like, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I don't care. And it was playing to silence.
Bro,
pure.
That freaks me out.
Yeah.
My jokes being read in a cold room with no vibe.
Oh yeah,
that is
no. I mean,
scary.
there was laughs.
Yeah.
There just was. Yeah, there is nothing like the pain, especially if you're writing for somebody who's like a really great performer. I took a really, really large swing my first season, which is I wrote something for Keenan, which he was kind enough to like look at and put his name on. But it was basically like a 90s kid's wet dream where he was like kind of playing an old character he played on All That, and he was willing enough to do it. And boy, oh boy, did it play to silence. I'm talking silence. And I'm just sitting there like, what? No, you guys get it. Right?
Are you adding moments to laugh so they know?
Right. No.
That was insane, right, guys?
That was really good.
Hilarious.
Good writing,
That's
bro.
crazy. No, that's the crazy part. People's names are on the top. So sometimes you see people going back to look and be like, no. Okay.
Damn.
Let me know not to who to write with next week. It's painful.
Fuck.
And I thought maybe it'll help if it's me and Keenan's name, and no. They knew in their hearts, they were like, Keenan put his name on this to be nice.
Keenan can do no wrong anymore at the show.
He
this
really
man
can.
do a sketch about farts. And
Well,
like,
that's what I mean is like he's such a great tenor. He was giving it everything. Everything. Silence.
Bro.
Oh, painful.
Bro, to bomb.
Oh, yeah. Those bombs were more painful to me than anything else in a weird way.
Even stand-up, right?
Yeah, I don't know, because stand-up is like, I don't know, it's interesting. I think it's just like, even though stand-up is public embarrassment, something about, you're not very often, like, you're bombing in front of an audience, right? And you're like, oh, you kind of know why. You're like, maybe I need to rewrite these jokes, or maybe I need to do that. But something about bombing in front of like a room full of your peers that you have to work with next week is like, you're like, cool.
It's like bombing on day one of a cruise.
Yeah.
You know, just hanging out with them, having food, the lunch.
Yes, 100%. It's like that feeling of like when you have a really bad set and then you found out like a big comic you respect was in the room.
I know. That's
like,
the thing. At shows, like, that's the worst thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's a comic who I like who I respect, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, I don't normally, but it always gives me a little bit of a thing where I'm like,
Yes.
all right, I gotta fucking. I always prefer that nobody that I know is in the audience.
Yes, same.
Nobody
100%.
that I know at all
Then
is
I
in
start
the
getting
audience.
weird. I'm like, I don't. That's not my set.
Yeah.
I don't do
My
jokes.
wet dream in comedy is that
Yeah.
I'm killing so hard.
Uh-huh.
A guy I respect walks in. I'm killing so hard, the sound pushes him back out of the room.
Yeah.
That's my wet dream. Like, oh, dude,
He's like, whoa.
Whoa. I can't
Yeah.
even see this. This guy's too good.
That is the idea, isn't it? You're killing so hard. People are like, wait a second, what's going on in there?
yeah,
What's
dude,
happening?
those people come out like,
Yeah. All right.
Dude, I remember seeing like the first round of like kind of layoffs and like, everyone had their own take on it.
Uh-huh.
Like Alex English, who I love, very funny guy.
Oh, yeah.
He had like the sassiest exit post.
Yeah.
What
You
was
know,
it?
It was just like, well, y'all might have heard. Things been happening on the front line. I'm like, dude, Jesus, Alex.
Oh, my gosh.
Sassy gay, I got fired post. I mean, it was insane.
Alex.
People were taking so many different ways of dealing with the information.
His was, I have since learned his was, I think, the better way. I really do. Because me and Alex got laid off on the same day. Found out Friday at like 5 p.m., right? Both same time, same day. He posted that on Saturday at 10 a.m. Saturday at 10. I wanted
Wasn't this
to
around
take-
the time Trump got shot?
Yeah, yes,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, you know what? Give me some changes around
Yeah,
here.
just so you guys know, we're gonna figure some things out, okay? Yeah, he is so great. I loved working with him. But yeah, he posted that so quickly, and I thought I was gonna take the weekend. And the unfortunate part was I was doing so many shows that weekend, and everybody knows Alex. They're like, oh my gosh. I saw what Alex posted this morning, but you're good, right? I think you did that. I think Usama did that to me.
I'm sorry.
Yes! That happened to me like 7 times over the course of that weekend. Like, I was like, let me just take some time and like really before I let anybody know. And like 7 people were like, yeah, it's all about Alex, but you're chill though, right? Yeah. I had to be
Brutal.
Dude, I just be talking to Vanessa if she's in the same room. I love Vanessa. I can't not talk to her, right? And then your head was down or something, and I'm like, so I kind of already knew probably. And I was like, oh, SNL, right? And you're like, I'm not looking at you though. I'm me at the ground. What does that say to you, Sam?
Yeah, I was like, what do you think? No, it
And
was,
you always think that when I talk to you, I'm trying to shit on you at
Yeah,
all times.
yeah.
I was not. It's like, hello, Vanessa. You're like, not
No.
now. You.
I
Fucking.
feel like it's got to be more harsh if you're a performer who gets cut.
well, that's
wrong
why,
about that?
Why?
Yeah, because that's why I didn't really post it, because I was like, nobody really cares or knows about like the writers or whatever. I was there for 3 seasons. It's like fine.
Yeah.
But because I think it's also the 50th, and the thing that people talk to you about when there's like a pause or a lull is like, so how's SNL? I didn't realize that every single conversation for like the last 3.5 months has been like, so how's SNL? I'm not there. But oh my God, no, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
Same with me with the Daily Show.
Yeah.
Still comics because it went like wildfire across the scene.
Yes.
And then they got Jon Stewart strike happened. Everything kind of fell apart.
Yes.
Still, like Reggie Conquest go, hey, yo, how was work, man? Good stuff. And I was like,
Yes. And then you gotta like overdo it again. But it is harder for performers because they actually get picked up in like articles and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I remember I did Punky's show at Union Hall, and she had mentioned like, oh yeah, somebody asked a question about like what characters are you excited to work on next year, and Punky was just like, she's just Punky, just off the cuff. She was like, yeah, no, I'm not working there next year. Blah blah blah. I didn't, whatever. Blah blah blah. The next day, because I'm in a group chat with her and another writer who used to be there, Jasmine Pierce, and the next day, Jasmine sending like CNN articles and like this, and Punky Johnson says her time at SNL was cut short. And I don't think Punky was supposed to have said it yet. I feel like she wasn't supposed to have jumped the gun quite yet.
Yeah.
And it was so funny.
She's going. She's like, not just me. You
Yeah.
know? You know who else got cut?
This
Oh my
person,
God.
everybody.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, literally, she was like, she was like, I didn't know it was gonna be an article. I was like, how do you not know, Punky? You are a public figure. You have to tell Punky constantly she's a public figure.
and she got cut from the legal team.
Yeah,
The legal team
yeah, it's
hit her up
crazy.
because she don't
NBC
got
general. She kills me. So
Punky's
funny.
very funny. Punky's very funny.
Genuinely so funny.
Dude, that really is an insane thing, and coming from my personal story, that is it's just like, bro. And I thought they were gonna be different because these people who worked at the Daily Show is like 20-year vets of the show.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what a unique type of job where the producers stay for 20 years. That must mean that they're really nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
no.
they know. And here's the thing: it's like this person that I connected to, who was like one of the main dogs at the show, didn't even say goodbye. You know, I had to get through a lackey, and then my manager had to hit him up, and they're like, actually, we're in a strike.
So they didn't even tell your people.
The person that I thought was always my point person didn't even say goodbye.
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, you were always there for me the entire time when I was in.
Yeah.
And the moment Stewart came back in and everything kind of resurfaced,
Yeah.
and it's the same time that Minaj got thrown out. So it's almost like, no Browns. This guy, everyone out.
Interesting.
All this stuff was happening.
Yeah.
And in that moment, listen, as a human being, you should be like, listen, hey, I got you in.
Yeah.
Let me Sophie's choice you out.
Yeah. I think I just like.
And she didn't do that.
Yeah. I feel things almost too much that I have to have this just like, this is just the industry, or else I will go insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because things like that happen. Yeah.
Well, you guys are lucky. I haven't had a good thing that I've gotten to get shit canned from. You know what I mean?
Shut up, dude. No, he made his own web series. His own like little series. It's like going everywhere on the festival circuit.
That's huge. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I would rather work at SNL for 4 seasons. Get paid out the ass.
It's not too late.
But in terms of like creative control, he's throwing me. I'm in the show, his show.
Yeah.
Doing takes. Say this. Oh, what about this? Oh, I'll say this. And then that's fun.
Yes.
That's fun. That is the best version of what that kind of movie side is.
There's a lot of great ways that those things can be fun if like they give you the chance to like fully have your own voice.
Answer your question. When you're in the studio, you're actually in the studio watching these people do dress rehearsals, right?
Yeah.
Can you throw lines during it? Is there a collaborative environment then where like Heidi's saying this and you're like, Heidi, what about this? Or is it like walking?
Yeah, I mean the nice part is like the writers really do write and produce their own things. So yeah, if you change a joke, you're just like, oh, do this joke or whatever. Yeah, that's like
you
totally
can say
fine.
that, like from the behind the cameras.
When you're like blocking and stuff, yeah.
You
But
can say it, right?
yeah, the show's still live.
Oh, I love that. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
romantic to me. Like you walk on the stage, Heidi, what about this?
Yeah, 100%.
That's cool to me. See, that's the
Yes.
beauty. That's the core of what this beauty is, right?
100%.
You know, one time he was like, say balls next time.
Yeah.
One of the best.
Always gets a huge laugh. Every theater.
Really?
One of the biggest lines.
Everywhere
Oh,
we've shown
that's
it always
awesome.
gets big laughs.
Boom, dude.
Yeah, see, that's what I do like about the collaboration process. Is
That's
like
cool.
the other people's jokes and things like that can actually like help. So at its best, that is the greatest part.
Yeah, because that's where it becomes very spontaneous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where all the funniest stuff
Yes.
comes from.
Yes,
You know?
it's only bad when it's like the joke doesn't work, and then you're like, oh no.
And you
Yeah.
collaborated into their bomb.
Yeah.
God.
Or you like told them and then they didn't do well, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. One of my most embarrassing moments, I think, at the show was I got a chance to work with Justin Timberlake and Jimmy Fallon on their like classic Barry Gibb sketch, and after the sketch went for like dress rehearsal, there was a joke that didn't work, and I went to go tell Justin like, oh, we're gonna cut that joke because it didn't work, and he goes, oh, really? As like a joke, like he was being nice, but he was like, oh no, like because he obviously heard it didn't get laughs, and I was like, and I thought we were like riffing, and I go, what did I say? I was like, yeah, what you want with jokes is to get a laugh.
Oh shit! This is on July 10th.
This man goes, so is that all?
Damn.
Like,
So this is a joke that he had come up with.
no,
Okay.
it was just in the sketch that we
Right.
had it, but we had to change it because it didn't work.
Yeah.
And it was,
Is that all? Gotta
that
be one of the
all?
most
I was like,
cold
cool.
things
So
to
is
say to
that,
somebody.
is that it? And I was like, yeah, great. No, I get it. You don't want your time taken up. That's cool.
Who's your favorite celeb that you've worked with at SNL?
Justin Timberlake actually was really cool. He's like cool in the way you think. He is who you think he's going
That's
to be.
good.
Vanessa, has a joke ever worked that you wrote on SNL? Has a sketch ever done well? Apparently, all these horror stories.
Me and Punky had one of the biggest sketches, which
one?
was Big Boys.
Which was that?
Okay. Wow. Somebody's not on
Is
TikTok.
that all, Vanessa?
I'm just kidding. Now it's just gonna make me like, listen. No, it was like a song that we wrote.
Oh, so funny.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, hilarious.
One of the best.
Super, super funny.
Oh, Big Boys.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're lying. Osama hates me.
I do
Wait,
not.
can we talk about that on this podcast?
This is just.
That was.
It's just been about negging you harder and
Yeah.
harder about SNL.
I felt like I was gonna get on here
So
and
tell
I
me
was
about
gonna
some
get
more
got.
failures.
Yeah. He's like, so nothing's ever worked for you, huh? Interesting. Weird. No, I think my favorite person to work with, though, was Travis Kelce.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Keke Palmer was also really, really cool.
Okay, yeah, I could
She
see that.
is
Travis
exactly.
seems so dumb that he just takes whatever you say to him. That's what you like about it, right?
That's why she liked it. He was like very pliable.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll just feed him a couple grapes and
Yeah,
he'll
and then
do
it's
whatever
cool.
you want.
You mean
He
whip
just
the
stands.
black act? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
He
doesn't-
just
doesn't-
stands there. No. He wasn't dumb.
Who was the worst one?
Just kidding.
Yes. Oh, you're gone. It's over.
No.
You know what I do always say though is and I'm always curious about this because I think when celebrities come to us, or at least they're talking to the job I had, I think they're just like, I want you to make us look good. So like they're always super, super nice to us because they're just like, we want you to look good. While I was there, I didn't have a host that was like, there's the stories about like people being bad in pitch or like, I will say, Jack Harlow, super nice, super sweet. But I think one of the funniest moments of my entire life was we like pitch on Mondays. We'll pitch to the host like just like jokes or things that was going to be in the show. And somebody says to Jack Harlow, and okay, so the John Benet Ramsey case. And he goes, who? I think it was quite possibly the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. The whole room.
That's exactly what John Bonet's brother said when the cops asked him, have you seen John Bonet? He's like, John Bonet, who? What?
I don't recall. What are you talking about?
Jack Harlow's a fan of John Bonet's brother.
Yeah.
I'm just a big fan of his.
He's like,
his
I
work.
don't know what you're talking about. Who?
That's
I know
insane.
Kyle Ramsey.
Yeah. He's like, wait a second.
Dude, he is young, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
kinda
what a lot of
dumb.
people chalked it up to. No, I think he is young. Yeah.
That's a tough reference. We all want John Bonet to be an evergreen reference
Yes.
because we're demented like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
And then she was like, 9/11. He's like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
No, Jack Harlow cracked me up. His persona is exactly what you think his persona would be.
I feel like he doesn't have a black accent for real, and he adds that. I feel like his voice is like, hey, how are you there? Put her there. That's what I think he is. But now he's like, oh, what's good, girl?
Yeah.
How you doing? I just don't think that's really his voice. I cannot believe that.
See, he's one of those people sometimes, I always say this, like, what is your, like, ordering pizza voice? Like, what do you sound like when you're just, like, talking to somebody on the phone? You know what I mean? Because sometimes
I
I'm
was
like,
I want a pepperoni.
yeah.
And I want a jalapeno.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not like, yo, let me get that pepperoni. Like,
Yeah.
but he does have an interesting way of talking, which he came to us, like, fresh off of being on, what was it, White Men Can't Jump, the new movie or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes.
And he was telling another writer, he was like, yeah, I'm happy to be at SNL because I don't usually get a chance to be silly. I was like, of course he would say that. I'm obsessed. Everything he said was just like, yeah, I don't usually get to be silly. I got a lot of deep thoughts. I was like, yeah, you do. I'm obsessed. I want to call him and pretend to be a telemarketer. How do you really sound?
But I think you like dumb men. I think you like it.
Most women like dumb men.
Yes.
Like
I think-
slightly
Do you think-
dumb enough,
You,
I think.
you like a little,
Interesting.
like a gentle hum of like cheese or something, like
Yeah.
something just dumb in their head.
Women, they're like, I just like to watch him eat. you know? Watch him eat a little bit.
Yeah,
and
it's cool.
You want to put a bib on a guy and watch him eat,
And watch him eat
Yeah.
food.
and he's slowly dribbling down
Do
soup.
I like?
And you're kind of like you're turned on by that. You're like, oh, I could ruin this man.
I date some not smart men, but I
Boom.
usually like smart.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but I feel like
What turns you on?
my girlfriend's favorite things are like she'll just be looking at me when I'm just eating or I'm doing just a normal thing. She's like, nah, just looking, you know. But she's like very infantilizing towards me. She's like, honey, have you been on Twitter too much today?
That's
Have you been
so
on Twitter
funny.
too much? You seem a little agitated. You know, it's like that kind of thing.
But then
right?
when I do
Yeah.
the same thing, Pranav was like, shut up, dude, I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
and
when
that's a
it's
sure
just-
sign that I've been on Twitter too much.
Right.
You're like,
You're
absolutely.
just a brown loser, dude.
Yeah.
Who's stupid.
Yeah.
And then this girl is like, sorry, baby, you're right. I should be doing more pranayama or something.
Yeah.
You never get angrier than when somebody calls out something that's very true about you.
Of course,
like,
of
how
course.
dare you?
Unless your girl does it, then it becomes kind of cute, you know?
Yeah.
Right? It's like your girl has a little
Yeah.
more dominion
If
over
you like
No,
them,
it is.
yeah.
It's fun. It all becomes like a little game play acting.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
am just a little boy.
But
little
Vanessa's
baby.
ideal man is like, they're at a crosswalk and he's like, look both ways. Okay, you're doing great. That's what you want this. Vanessa, you want, because you love your intelligence.
What?
And you want someone who's under your spell.
No.
Yes. Yes.
We don't know this. This is all purely
Intelligent.
something that you invented about Vanessa.
Yes, thank you. I'm not intelligent, so I need somebody else who's
You
gonna
are
really
obviously
help us.
intelligent.
Okay, yeah, we'll go
What
with that.
did your
in
last
different
boyfriend
ways. What did he do?
Like, what was his career?
This is not going to help my case.
Professional Play-Doh.
exactly. He was an amateur MMA fighter.
No, he was a trainer.
Okay, there it is.
There we go.
There it is.
I knew that wasn't going to be good.
Okay, what about before that?
Sorry. I've only had one serious relationship.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
When was this?
Like 4 years ago.
Okay. And this guy trained you, and you were like, okay. This is the
Then
classic
she
story.
trained him.
I was like, hey, I trained him. What if I did? I was like, I got him into the field
Taught
and
him
then he
to
left
read.
me. What if that is my worst nightmare? What if I did? I got him super fit and then he was like, actually, I think I could do better.
Yeah.
He's like, now that I think
That's
about
what
it.
you want. You want them to stay a little dumb for you.
Yeah. No. Why did we go first? Why do you want me to want dumb people? That's the better question.
I just think I know your style.
Okay.
And I know that you value your intelligence highly.
You are intelligent. That's all he's really
That's
saying.
what I am saying.
really all
Value
he
my
said.
intelligence highly?
Absolutely.
And why would that mean that I wouldn't want to date somebody else smart?
It's like it kind of affirms your intelligence if you have something dumb. No,
I don't think
What he's saying is like, yeah, you're smart, but you're not that smart.
Yeah, he was
You know
like,
what
but
I
you
mean?
need to,
Yeah.
you need to have somebody who thinks you're really smart. I don't believe that. I don't think I would. If somebody asked me to name characteristics about myself, I do believe I'm intelligent, smart, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think I would name that
as like
a characteristic about me.
that needs someone dumb.
No, intelligent.
Oh, gotcha.
If somebody was like,
Yeah.
name 5 characteristimes.
About yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just a theory I'm working on.
Yeah.
Nobody believes.
What
in
are 5 traits you would use to describe yourself?
Ooh, funny.
Okay. So you think you're funny? The mean girls.
Can I tell you the first time I
What
told
does Justin
Usama?
Timberlake think about that one?
Osama doesn't think I'm funny. I told Osama.
That's not true.
No, I told Osama once. Can I do an impression for
Of
you
course,
of Osama?
we all.
I said, okay, okay, go ahead. Let me ask you what you want to do for a living, and then you tell me you want to be a touring stand-up comedian. Okay. What do you want to do for a living?
I want to be like a touring stand-up comedian. Yeah.
Really? Really? And then I go, yeah, why not? And he goes, no, let me think about it. No, you could do that. Yeah. And this is while I'm doing stand-up comedy. He goes, really? Huh. Really?
And he thinks he's being like a good guy right now, talking to you, and like, no, I'm interested.
It wasn't even a stranger who's never seen me tell jokes. I thought that was a softball. I was like, yeah, I want to be a touring stand-up. Really? And then he really thought about it. He goes, yeah, no, let me think about it.
This is now
No, you could do
This is
that.
now the air grievances on Usama podcast.
I mean, you are bringing it on yourself a little bit,
And
you
you
know?
kind of deserve it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you kind of deserve it.
Okay, get back to it. 5 traits about yourself. Funny.
5 traits.
We're gonna
about
keep it
myself.
going on Patreon.
Yeah.
Your mango babe.